to present to you today our research study, which concerns a review of the use of thermal imaging and computer vision for pattern recognition. In fact, I'm a PhD student and I'm working on a topic which is related to geotechnical safety in underground mines using thermal imaging and deep learning approaches and computer vision. So within the state-of-the-art phase, we established this review in order to see all the applications of thermal imaging and computer vision. So this is presented in this study. So for this presentation, I will follow this agenda. First of all, I'll start with an introduction. Then I'll talk about some application fields of thermal imaging and computer vision. Then I'll move to a bibliometric analysis methodology and its main findings regarding our topic. Then I'll focus a little bit on defect detection using thermal imaging and computer vision. Then I'll conclude my presentation and I'll present the acknowledgements. So in order to introduce our topic, it is interesting to define, first of all, the topics we will talk about in this study. So first of all, what is thermal imaging? In fact, thermal imaging is a technology that captures and visualizes the infrared radiation emitted by objects. In fact, as we all know, the electromagnetic spectrum is very, very large. It contains many bands, and human eyes can see only in the visible light parts. So the other bands still not cannot be seen by humans. So thermal cameras, in fact, detect the radiation in the infrared part of the spectrum and convert it into a visible image represented by varying colors or shades, which allow users to observe temperature variations across surfaces. So in fact, in a thermal image, each pixel corresponds to the temperature at its exact location. Then we have the notion of computer vision. So computer vision is, we can say that it's a subfield of artificial intelligence because it's based on machine learning and deep learning approaches which are applied to images and videos in order to extract meaningful information and insights from these visual inputs. And subsequently, these systems can execute actions and offer recommendations based on the training data sets. And we can, in fact, distinguish the classification models, which means when we have a set of images and each image contains an item, and we try to classify these images depending on the items they contain. We have the detection models, which mean we have in the same image different items and we try to localize them through some bounding boxes. For example, here we have a bounding box which is in blue on the first item, then another bounding box in another color when it's another item, etc. And we have the segmentation models. This concerns the models that can give the exact shape of each item in the image. So we call that the segmentation. So in our study, when we combine the thermal imaging and the computer vision, in fact, the aim of the studies that are reviewed in this state of the art is to extract meaningful information from thermal images to detect patterns that cannot be seen by human eyes. So many scientific contributions discuss the use of infrared thermal imaging and computer vision to handle several issues linked to varied fields. And we try to classify these articles we reviewed into their main topic. So first of all, we have the topic of living being characterizations. Some articles focus on human being characterization through thermal imaging and computer vision, and others on animal characterization. For example, there are some articles that focus on the detection of the age and gender of people based on their infrared images. Some other studies are concerned by the classification of people that can have the COVID-19 issue. So thermal imaging was used to detect people with high body temperature and to indicate whether these people were wearing masks or not. All of that is based on, of course, their thermal images. Some other studies are based on human action recognition through infrared thermal imaging and computer vision models. Others focus on the hyperventilation of the body due to stress or anxiety, which can be clear on thermal images.
Sorry for the interruption, Professor.
Yeah.
Your slides are not moving. So it's same on first slide.
Really? We are on which slide now?
Yeah. So it's in first slide only.
One slide?
Yeah, it is in first introduction slide. So
okay,
your slides are not moving. Yeah.
So I'll, okay, just 1 minute.
Yeah, now it's moving.
It's moving? Now it's it's in living being characterization now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for informing me.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So I've said that we can also extract emotional states of people through the segmentation of their thermal images. And we have, of course, other applications, for example, face detection, which is the classical application of computer vision, etc. And regarding the animals' characterizations, we can define indexes related to the state of the animals. We can also detect their body's temperature through, for example, eye thermal image segmentation. We can characterize some diseases, etc. The other field that is concerned by this topic is the agricultural one. So, sorry? Okay, so through thermal imaging and computer vision, we can, for example, estimate the crop temperature at greenhouses. We can present some approaches to assess fruits maturity and to characterize also forest canopies through thermal images. And in the industrial field, we can detect faults and anomalies. So several studies were focused on the detection of cracks, holes, or other deficiencies inside the materials. Some other studies analyze the heating water pipes to detect their defects, and also the insulation tools. For example, we can have insulation damage or insulation fall-off, or also pipeline leakage, which are all issues that can be detected through the thermal images of these components processed by computer vision models. Buildings can also be monitored through thermal imaging and computer vision, either for the energy efficiency assessment or for damage detection, especially in concrete structures. We can, in fact, thermal imaging can allow even seeing the internal damage in some components, which cannot be done by human eyes. That's it. And we can therefore inspect different aspects of buildings thanks to these approaches. Then we have also the medical and pharmaceutical field. For example, thermal imaging and computer vision can be used for freeze-drying process characterization, which is a process used in the pharmaceutical field. It can be used for characterization of the photoemulsification, which is an issue that can affect the eyes, the cataract of the eye, the human eye. Breast cancer detection is one of the main applications of thermal imaging. Several research studies focus on this issue. And these technologies can also be used for biopharmaceutical formulations. And also, they can be used for natural phenomena monitoring. For example, we found 2 main studies which focus on the spatial characterization of volcanic plumes and the early detection of sinkholes, which are a kind of holes that affect the ground and should be predicted in order to avoid risks. And we have also some research articles that are focused on specific applications like the food industry and heating patterns in vessel industry, etc. So the examples presented in this section are varied, which shows the wide use of infrared imaging and computer vision. So in the following part, we will present the methodology adopted to establish a bibliometric analysis, which will allow extracting the most relevant information from the articles. So it's a kind of quantitative analysis, which is independent from the application field of the article, but it shows the global tendency of the topic we are working on. So the methodology we followed in order to establish the bibliometric analysis is as follows. So first of all, we fixed the research criteria. So our research database is Scopus, and the keywords we worked on or we fixed are infrared or thermal, because they are used in a similar way in articles, and image or imaging, and computer vision. Then we fixed the location of the keywords. So we want these keywords to be either in the title, the abstract, or the keywords of the article. Then the publishing year was before or within 2022, because we established this study in 2022. And the document types are articles and reviews, so only journal articles and reviews. And thus we found 1,160 articles that we can export as a CSV file into the bibliometric analysis tool, which is called BiblioShiny for bibliometrics tool. So this is the first part of the bibliometric analysis. Then as a special focus, because we want to see the articles that focus on the defects detection. So the second part of the analysis, we add the extra keyword defects to these keywords we defined in the first step. And then we had 22 articles that we classified into their main domains, and we tried to analyze the main idea of each article. So I'll start by the results of the first part of the analysis, which is the global one. So here I just show the research on the Scopus database and then the data import into the BiblioShiny tool. So as I've said, the number of documents is 1,160, which cannot be analyzed one by one article. So this is the interest of the bibliometric analysis, because it can allow analyzing in a global way a big number of articles. And here we have some data about number of sources, of authors, article writing languages, publication years, and the average citation by year, which are the initial results. So here, what is interesting is, in fact, we can see that the number of articles concerning infrared thermal imaging and computer vision per year has shown a vital increase recently, as we can see on the slope here, on the curve. The number of publications increased from 51 in 2017 to 192 in 2022. So this shows the importance of this topic nowadays. So the publication rate has increased sharply in the last few years, in the last few years. Then we have the most relevant sources of the articles we reviewed. So the global number of sources we found is 496. However, some journals are more dominant. For example, the journal Infrared Physics and Technology is where the most articles related to thermal imaging and computer vision are published. So we have here a global number of 50 publications in this journal. Then the bibliometric analysis allow also defining the authors that contribute the most within the topic, and also their countries, their affiliations. So here we have, for example, Leeway, the author that contributes the most, and the affiliation is Tianjin University, which has most of the publications in the database we worked on. Then we have China as being the most publishing country within this topic, either for, here we have MCP and SCP, which means multiple country publication or single country publication. So multiple country publication means when we have a collaboration between several countries in order to establish research within the topic, and single country, it's when just one country establishes the study. And China is the first one regarding both single and multiple country publications. And also regarding the evolution of the publications, so we can see here the slope of this curve, which is very important regarding the others. And also regarding the most cited countries, so we have China, then the USA, and Spain as the three first countries, most cited countries within the topic of computer vision and pattern recognition and thermal imaging in research articles. So here on this word map, we can see that there are some big differences between the number of publications. There are some countries that are not present, which are in green, and the others, there is a difference. When the blue is darker, so the publications are have big number, and then when it's the other colors, we have few publications in these countries. So in fact, the bibliometric analysis allows also identifying the most cited articles in the studied database. So here we find, for example, this first article written by Haritaulo in 2000, which has a big number of citations. In fact, this is due to the innovative approach used in this article, which concerned a real-time monitoring system for detecting and tracking multiple people outdoors, which uses, of course, infrared imaging and computer vision techniques. Then the study also includes the evaluation of the keywords frequency to identify the most relevant ones. For example, the results show that computer vision is the most frequent word in all the articles analyzed. It's followed by machine vision, deep learning, image processing, etc. So here we present the 10 most frequent words. And we can also have other presentations of the same results. For example, here we have the word cloud map, which means that the more keyword is frequent in the studied articles, the more its size is important in this graph. We have also the tree map, which means that we start by the most frequent keywords, and in this representation, we can have also the less frequent keywords and also their percentage of occurrence in the articles. Sorry. And then we can also establish the co-occurrence network, which means that we can organize our keywords into clusters which are related by some kinds of patterns. For example, here the bibliometric analysis gave five main clusters. The first one concerns computer vision, which is here in the center. Computer vision, image processing, machine learning, deep learning, etc. The second one concerns thermal images, segmentation, edge detection, and sensors. The third one concerns the infrared and visible image fusion. The third one concerns the transfer learning and target detection. And the last one concerns photogrammetry, infrared thermography, and 3D reconstructions. And one of the most important results in the bibliometric analysis is the representation of the trend topics. The trend topics are the most relevant topics discussed by the articles in specific temporal periods. So we can see on the graph that even if the first article we found started in 1986, the trend topic graph starts approximately in 2010. This can be explained by the fact that the topics in the articles published before are diverse, so they are not recurrent, and thus presenting a frequency less than the minimum required cannot be seen on this representation. So here, for example, we have the trends topics since 2010 till 2022. And we have different topics such as, for example, infrared imagery, sensors, hyperspectral imaging, till feature extraction, semantic segmentation, and artificial intelligence in the last years. So after these results, we move to the second part of the bibliometric analysis, which concerned the defects detection. So as I've presented before, in addition to the keywords we used before, we added the extra keyword defects, and therefore we found 22 research articles that we analyzed, and we found that the most fields concerned by defects detection using infrared thermal imaging and computer vision are the agri-food industry, especially the articles focusing on fruit quality monitoring, the building's auscultation regarding structural condition monitoring in a specific way, the electrical field, which means defect detection in electrical components, and in the same way, the electronics and defect detection in electronic components, and of course, the manufacturing materials and the defect detection in these materials, such as photovoltaic panels, wood materials, steel materials, etc. So, as a conclusion of this study, first, we've noticed that there is a big difference in the publication trend between all the countries worldwide. So, contributing to the topic by many research institutions in various countries can present a real potential for discovering new innovative case studies, especially those related to these countries' geographic location. And as a second conclusion, there is a real need for further research on various research questions that can be studied using thermal imaging and computer vision to detect defects. Because as you can notice, first, within the global analysis, we found 1,160 articles, and then when we added the defects keyword, we found just 22 articles. So we need more articles discussing the issue of defects detection using thermal imaging and computer vision. And here I'm just presenting the case study we are working on in our research project, which is detect geological and geotechnical defects, mainly rock mass discontinuities, with the use of infrared thermal imaging and computer vision to identify unstable rock blocks and prevent rock fall accidents in deep underground mines. So as last part, I would like to thank all the partners in our research projects, which are MASCIR, Moroccan Foundation for Advanced Science, Innovation and Research, Reminex, Engineering, R&D and Project Management, Managem Group, ENSMR, National School of Mines of Rabat, University Qadi Iyad, and National School of Computer Science and Systems Analysis, NCS. In fact, this research is conducted within the framework of the Intelligent and Connected Mine projects, which has been supported by the Moroccan Ministry of Higher Education, Scientific Research and Innovation, the National Center for Scientific and Technical Research of Morocco, CNRST, through the Al-Khwarizmi project, in addition to Managing Group and MASCIR support for this project. And thank you all for watching.